food pornography. It started with television, with Julia Child, some other early black and white cooking shows. Voyeurs gazed upon something that they could never have, this delicious food. And fast forward 50 years or so, and a guy from Microsoft perfected food pornography. It reached its peak in 2011 when he published a 5-volume, 2,500-page cookbook called Modernist Cuisine, The Art and Science of Cooking. A project started in 2007 when he founded the Cooking Lab, culinary research laboratory, photo studio, and publishing company. This is a cookbook for the rich, obviously. It's very expensive. Very expensive series of books. Then he followed that up with the 2017 series of books, Modernist Bread, which had a even bigger page count. So that does it. And of course, Dr. Nathan Myhrvold is brilliant. Worked at Microsoft and retired at a high level, maybe one of the highest levels. Retired in the year 2000. Postdoc fellow in the Department of Applied Mathematics and Theoretical Physics at Cambridge University with Professor Stephen Hawking, studying quantum theories of gravitation. This guy is no food poser, okay? He's a polymath and I dare say a genius. He's interested in planetary science, paleontology. Again, I'm reading from his own bio, but he's not lying. He founded Intellectual Ventures. This is a corporation that is a patent troll. They make their money from, much like his buddy Bill Gates, they make their money from owning intellectual property and then charging people and or suing them if they want to use or use without permission this intellectual property. So yeah, I think the food porn, celebration of the chef thing as this glorious thing, despite that show called, what is it called? The Goat, the Pig, some popular show that everyone's raving about on Twitter. It's over. I mean, it's reached its peak. The ultimate in high-resolution, high-tech food porn. Of course, we have Microsoft in the end to thank for that. There's a local restaurant in Seattle. I guess I'll give them some anonymity. I guess you would know who they are, though, if you know Seattle restaurants. It's a tiny place where you pay $200 or so plus beverages, tax, and tip, or service charge, as it may be, to sit in this tiny hallway facing a wall where these food hipsters would tattoos of a butcher knife on their, forearm and all that kind of shit cook up mostly offal or organ meats. They had a recent special was rabbit kidneys, and they were so enthusiastic. The rabbit kidneys have finally come in, and that's all in good. I mean, in other cultures, they use every part of the animal. It damn well doesn't cost $200 to sit down and eat that food with your friends and family, though, I'll tell you that. And recently they sent out you have to be like a rich person doing this as a hobby to run a restaurant. Either that or you're laundering money for weed. And as I've explained on this podcast over and over, that game don't fly no more. Hi, everyone. How are you? We're back from our extended travels in Spain, Portugal, refreshed, inspired, and eager to get going. We're going to keep this newsletter brief to cover a few changes and upcoming events, as it really is our last evening of true vacation, for a little while. It's not that brief of an email. Sundays. If you've been following us, you know that we unveiled Sunday suppers in September in an attempt to revitalize Sunday business. It was an opportunity to allow our kitchen staff to get creative. Oh, what isn't that the whole point every night? And put dishes on the menu while still adhering to our overall ethos. After several months of playing with the format, we realized that it simply wasn't fitting our brand. And honestly, attracting a kind of clientele that was more interested in a, quote, deal than what we're really about, which is not a deal for your goat liver smothered in Dungeness crab, resulting in several unpleasant interactions that demoralized our staff and us. Like someone... Harden up. It's the restaurant business. It's like retail, but the people coming in are all assholes, especially to this kind of trendy, expensive place. So, in the interests of keeping it true to ourselves and candidly for the mental health of our staff, we have decided to make Sundays a la carte only. First come, first serve. There's literally 12 seats in the restaurant. Valentine's dinner coming up, $237/person, $237 per person. That comes with wine pairings, but you're going to have a service charge and taxes. So a family of four is going to pay over $1,000 for this meal. Well, I think I'm getting distracted here. This episode was supposed to be about pornography, like sex pornography, not food visual pornography, or like the obscene restaurants that charge a fortune so you can pretend you're king for a day and the servant is serving you this innovative, meal of luxury. Welcome to Doomed Planet. Episode 108, Surveillance Pornography, the Horrors of Pornhub.
I can't wait one more day, can't find one more word to say, so I'll just get on my way, I'm coming home.
Boy, am I the right old person to do a podcast about pornography. I grew up with Playboy magazine. I don't know if the kids know what that is. Was fascinated and eventually horrified by the founder, Hugh Hefner, who died surrounded by dog waste and cynical hookers. Good old Hugh was pretty cool in the 1960s, hanging out with Shel Silverstein and a million other hipsters of the day, many of whom he published in the magazine. It wasn't just dirty pictures, though the pictures were not that dirty, but every red-blooded heterosexual American male of my age remembers discovering their dad or grandpa or great-grandpa's stash of Playboys. Playboy got ripped off by Pornhub. We're talking about Pornhub, the web sex monopoly. And Playboy got ripped off by Pornhub, much like Seth Warshawski, Seattle Internet Porn King. We did an episode about him. Ripped off Bob Guccione of Penthouse magazine. Of course, Penthouse is a step up from Playboy. They would actually start to show pubic hair and then open genitals, and the women were way hotter. I hate to say it. Playboy is very sanitized. Hugh Hefner's ideal woman, fake blonde, big fake boobs. If you look at the Playboy mansion, the one in California, it looks like they tore it down. Go on Google Maps. Looks like it's a construction site now. So, yeah, porn. It's been around back in the day when we didn't have internet on our phones. We had magazines. I mean, we're not going to get into all the Peep Show and Super 8 and all that. And, Playboy is the first one you see. Penthouse is the gold standard. Hustler by free speech hero Larry Flint, the publisher. The women not as good looking. There's like obviously a hierarchy. You gotta, if you want to pose naked, you start at Playboy, and then you get rejected on down to Hustler, Swank, Gallery, and then God knows what. But yeah, in those days, many magazines. But when did pornography start? Well, it started with the invention of the door, because doors had keyholes, and you could peek through a keyhole to see what was going on in that room, that sex room. Yeah, so what is different? What is different from Pornhub and peepholes? Well, Pornhub is, there's an unlimited, unlimited number of scenarios you can peep through that hole and see. There's an 18th century, voyeurism. It's as old as time. It goes back before peepholes indoors. You're peeping into someone's cave, right? 80,000 years ago. It's an 18th century British smut novel called Fanny Hill, with a interesting scene where the Fanny is, the 12-year-old, whatever, that gets indoctrinated into the brothel, and she's peeping through and she sees sex for the first time. It's very graphic, and there's foam, and oh, God. Pornhub.com is the 6th most popular website in the world. 3 billion visits. I'm not sure if that's monthly. 96% of viewers are on their phone. And average time on the website, 11 minutes. DuckDuckGo, the web browser that's sort of private, is number 7 in the world. Probably because people use DuckDuckGo to go to Pornhub. So it's a hugely popular site. They make money selling advertising to the worst, dumbest, fake products, producers imaginable. But I've got a hunch that they sell data, about their users, that they, find people's IP addresses. They sell this at user habits, time of day, all that stuff to third-party I'd say marketers, but who knows? Third party, foreign governments looking to surveil, society and learn, methods of social control. Pornhub is currently operated by ALO Free Sites Limited. They're on Old Nicosia Limassol Road in the Dali Industrial Zone in Cyprus. So the laws are different there in Cyprus. I guess we'll have to go to Wikipedia. Pornhub is a Canadian-owned internet smut company. In December 2020, there was a New York Times expose of all the non-consensual pornography and sex trafficking depicted on the site. Visa and MasterCard cut their services. And Pornhub removed all videos they claim uploaded by unverified users. There is a 2023 documentary, if you really care, on the streaming services called Money Shot, the Pornhub story. Web developer Matt Keyser launched Pornhub in May 2007. In 2015, they were going to make a porn film featuring real-life sex in space, named Sexplorations. They sought money from Indiegogo, a crowdfunding site. Just ridiculous. I'm reminded of when I worked for Seattle Porn King, Seth Warshawski, in the mid-90s. And shout out to him, because he would do these dumb stunts that were never going to happen. It's really a Silicon Valley thing. You come up with this, I'm doing a cyber tunnel, and it's all hype and bullshit, and it serves your interests temporarily, but it's all bullshit. Well, Space Sexplorations, the Pornhub film that never got made, obviously reminiscent of when Seth Warshawski did ourfirsttime.com, two people will lose their virginity once they turn 18 a month from now. Sign up now, $10. And of course, that was all a scam, as was his whole deal. Of course, there are all these. This is great. It's not entirely unhealthy to view Pornhub and these other sites like 90% of everything in the world is crap rule. At Pornhub, it's 99.9% of everything is crap. And you might find 1 in 1,000 videos have attractive people that look like they're enjoying what they're doing. Otherwise, it's it's fine, healthy outlet. It's better than going on a rape rampage, but it might be poisoning people's minds as well. Of course, giving men a false understanding, especially young men who are stupid, of what sex is and how to treat a partner. Malvertising. Here's where, again, Pornhub has multiple income sources. Advertising, fine. But why would they advertise like Semenax? It's like, make your semen thicker. It's complete herbal supplement bullshit that Alex Jones would reject advertising on his show, probably. Wikipedia found that there's malvertising. Pornhub and the site Xhamster pose the greatest threat. These are advertisers that are running malicious ads, and they're going to install software on your PC, especially if you click on the ad and go to whatever their bullshit site is. Philanthropy, save the boobs. They're going to donate money to the Susan G. Komen Pink Breast Cancer Foundation. The foundation refused the money. That, again, is just some hype. June 21st, 2022, Pornhub owner MindGeek CEO and COO resign. Ferris Antoon and David Tassio resigned after a decade in the adult website industry. Okay, yeah, ALO is the parent company, formerly MindGeek. And that company is owned by Ethical Capital Partners. That's very ethical of them to own the porn site. And so again, this, in order to do business, especially in multiple countries, much of their budget is spent on lawyers and accountants figuring out how to register various corporations in various tax shelters across the world and that kind of thing. Here we go back to Playboy. In November 2011, Playboy took on what is now Pornhub as an operating partner, just like Seth did in the 90s with Penthouse. And it did not work out well. Playboy CEO Scott Flanders described the partnership with MindGeek as the biggest mistake I've made at the company. Playboy should not have association with being in the sex act business. Playboy took back control in 2014 of the partnership at significant expense, paying MindGeek a fortune. So that, they're in the extortion of old media sex companies racket too. Of course, they are acquiring different companies and adding them to their, it's, we don't need to get into too much of the minutiae here. They operate under a complex structure, according to Wikipedia, of multiple countries in countries such as British Virgin Islands, Curacao, Cyprus, Ireland, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands. Of course, different laws, different shit you can get away with shuffling your money around in there. They own Traffic Junkie. So if you see ads on Pornhub for Traffic Junkie, that's their ad network. Vice President of Pornhub Corey Price said in December 2014 that Pornhub wants to make watching porn something that's acceptable to talk about. Okay, well, is it acceptable to talk about how gross much of the thing is? And some of it is dehumanizing, and some of it is like the actors are really good because they're obviously not enjoying it, but it doesn't look like they're miserable, and they probably are miserable. Another sidetrack that we won't get into is no one really gets paid a lot. The on-screen talent no longer gets paid a lot. Very few. I mean, maybe that's capitalism, like winner take all. You know, you can only have like one Brad Pitt and 9 other Brad Pitt clones because no one is going to remember 1,000 Brad Pitts. Maybe that's the same with porn. I kind of think it's just more of an exploitative part of the entertainment industry than anything else. And so you're getting paid not much for doing something that's going to be around forever. You know, maybe AI and deep fakes and stuff, maybe it doesn't matter anymore and you can just claim, oh, that's a deep fake. But still, you know, a lot of these people in the industry have a very low self-esteem. On March 17th, 2023, Ethical Capital Partners acquired MindGeek, owner of Pornhub and other crap. If you go to Ethical Capital Partners website, you can see their leadership team. Again, pornography or sex or any of that not mentioned. Since the dawn of the World Wide Web, I have loved corporate bios. The worst are the ones where they're like, they have a wife and kid and a German shepherd named Angel or something. It's, oh, God. So here's Matt Kieser, CEO of Ethical Capital Partners. Again, he helped create Pornhub. He's a serial entrepreneur, 15 years experience in the tech industry, built and scaled multiple successful companies across various industries. You know, what's the one industry that's, besides illegal drugs, that is a get-rich-quick industry where no one wants to work in it, so like mediocre people can get rich? Here's some news. January 15th, that's recent. Crime Stoppers International, ALO and Ethical Capital Partners enter working relationship. So the porn site is working with Crime Stoppers. Yeah, let's help you find the thousands of people that were probably trafficked or being trafficked that have videos on the site, and then the many, many thousands of people that regret being on the site, would like to get their stuff removed from the site but have a hard time doing that. Crime Stoppers can help you with that for sure. They know all about like jumping onto the servers and writing some code to do that. Rocco Miliambro, he's going to come get me. Investor, founder, and startup leader. Fadi Mansour, trusted advisor and advocate. Sarah Bain, a human female in the porn industry. Okay. Expert communicator, public engagement specialist. She's the VP of public engagement. And, of course, Solomon Friedman, award-winning trial and appellate lawyer, is the VP of compliance in case Pornhub needs to comply with something. So, Pornhub, it's free, but like everything, like remember when Facebook had that thing for years? You brought up Facebook's homepage and it said it's free and always will be. Well, that's gone because it's just facetious to say that. Yeah, Pornhub, they sell ads to the most gullible people. The ads are full of malware. I'm guessing they make a huge part of their revenue just gathering, processing, and reselling data from the millions and millions of people, over a billion people that go to their website every month. And now, if that wasn't dark enough, let's just go visit Pornhub and just look at least one of these stars and what we think their situation is. It's going to be grim, people. If you have underage kids, like 10 or under, listening, just tell them to log off right now. Okay.
Are you a fucker or mostly interested in a little head?
Just a little head.
Very good. That's 3 seats, Cascade Flight 111, destination New York, first class, sex, non-smoking, adult film, no special meals, interested in a little head and a lot of pleasure. Happy land.
I think we can admit, a weird fetishes aside, most people want attractive porn actors. And so if you look on Pornhub and for a while trying to find anything, here comes Lara Brooks. Very beautiful young white woman, born Brittany Munson in 1990 in Michigan. That's her stage name. No one uses their real name in porn or in crime in general. Everyone has a nickname. And adorable auburn-haired sprite. She was discovered by adult industry agent John Stevens. Now, remember Dorothy Stratton, how she got discovered, great famous Playboy playmate? She was working at Burger King or something, and some sleaze came in and was like, oh yeah, this girl's good looking, and no one realizes it, including her, and she has a low sense of self-esteem, and I'm going to get her in Playboy and keep all the money, and sadly, eventually murdering her. John Stevens, not in jail, obviously not that bad, but what does it mean to be discovered? How much fucking talent does that take to be, traveling in, Ypsilanti, Michigan, and seeing some girl at the bowling alley? And then I guess the hard part is convincing them, why don't you come to LA? It's really a great place, especially for people like you trying to break into the business. So before we talk about Lara more, let's look up this guy, John Stevens. Sort of a common name, hard to find. Here we go, July 20th, 2023. Fluke Skywalker allegedly possessed child porn, too graphic and fantasy-fueled for prosecutors to discuss in court. My God, a 59-year-old Ohio man. Okay, it's not the same John Stevens. Well known for impersonating Mark Hamill's Luke Skywalker character from Star Wars at local charity events. Was arrested this week on more than half dozen criminal charges for trafficking child sexual abuse material. Wow, if there's one thing more despicable than cheerleader for the Ukraine war and Zionist Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, it's this fake Luke Skywalker guy. And, as you know from watching all your, voyeuristically watching all your prison shows on HBO, you have your paperwork, right? When you go to jail, and especially in the age of the internet, you can't hide what your crime was. And nobody in there likes a rapist or especially a child perv. And so your life is going to be miserable if they don't just snuff you. On the other hand, we have this punitive legal system that probably, can plant that information on someone and then frame them. And then no one's going to believe you in jail. Everyone is innocent in jail. Oh, I didn't have this child rape stuff. Yeah, sure, buddy. Okay, I found the actual John Stevens. He's been an agent forever. He was representing women when a model could make a decent living doing Playboy-esque glamour shoots without hardcore penetration. For the first 10 years of my career, all I booked was single girl or girl-on-girl scenes. In those days, there were over 200 magazines. Playboy, Penthouse, Hustler, and a lot of other ones getting grosser and grosser as the models got cheaper and cheaper. Nowadays, there are about 6. There's been a shift in the industry, and it's still shifting. But you're still doing it, dude. So what you're doing, you think there'd be some female agents, right? What you're doing is making them do much more than they would have done in the past, even though that might come back to haunt them or be embarrassing for them. Yeah, Pornhub. It's a magnet for the best people. Does anyone bother reading the terms and conditions? Only an entertainment lawyer could understand this stuff, but does anyone bother reading that for Twitter or Pornhub or whatever? Pornhub says we may disclose your biometric information, face scan, selfie, and government-issued ID, including any government-issued ID or selfie you previously submitted to us with members of our corporate group and with third-party service providers. So, in other words, they can sell, if you sign up to be a model, a verified model on Pornhub, they can sell your ID and all your information to someone, a casting director, traffickers, whoever. These entities may be located in jurisdictions that do not offer the same level of data protection as your jurisdiction. It's like you travel to Bulgaria and they do a face scan and they're like, come with us. You can't come in the country because of this sex act you did. And as a matter of fact, we're going to take you to jail and maybe worse. These entities may perform facial recognition and process your biometric information. Biometric information shared by our service providers with us will be stored for as long as you have a Pornhub Model Partner Program account. Trust us. They don't even say trust us. They're like, you're giving it away if you sign up. You think you're going to sell some of your badly produced sex videos with you and your current partner and you're not that attractive and it's not that creative? Well, we're going to sell your information. That's how we really make money. Third-party links and sites. Pornhub tells us if you click on a link to a third-party site, you will be taken to websites we do not control. We are not responsible for these third-party practices, whatever they may be. Website activity data. Yeah, we process information about how you use our websites, products and services, search history, referring web page, browser and operating system, devices, online identifiers. We process IP addresses. We set cookies. Even if you're thinking you're using a VPN or something that protects you, yeah, they're going to find out your IP address. And I think most people out there using VPNs that don't actually work well or just browsing and they don't care, yeah, they love that. They get all your info. Like, oh, they shopped at Amazon before they came to the site, and we're going to sell that info to Amazon. And I think, like everything, shouldn't Pornhub be nationalized and just controlled by the government? I guess right-wing people would be in a hissy fit over that. Our tax dollars are going to this site. Inaccuracies of content, personal injury, property damage, whatsoever, access, financial third-party errors and omissions, content damage incurred, content transmitted, lots of legalese. But I digress. Let's get back to Lara Brooks, who I think did a bunch of videos, mostly for a very, very creepy guy who has had unsafe sex with hundreds and hundreds of women. None of them, or very few of them, as attractive as Lara, or attractive at all. They all seem they've got that, I'm young and I'm moving from Indiana to LA. My life has been hard, but it's all going to change for me now. You know, that kind of look in their eyes and their face. It's very sad. Okay, so Lara, the one I described as being attractive, she's a really good actress. I don't think she's that thrilled to be doing all this stuff. And again, everything has a level of degradation, and she does some girl-on-girl scenes, or two girls and a guy, and it seems that a lot of her videos are branded as ATK Girlfriends. ATK Girlfriends, series of videos. It's the same guy. Gruesomely, he's kind of old. You can tell you never see his face. They're POV videos. You can tell by his hands and just the age. He's in his maybe 40s, who knows, even older. And again, have your kids and all nuns leave the room. He has a defect on his not that impressive or not impressive at all penis. And hey, it's porn. Like, there's nothing wrong with all different sizes and shapes of genitals, but it's porn, dude. And it looks like genital warts. I don't want to go on a Google image search or anything, but like, he has sex with all these young girls, and you can just plainly see this blob of blackish stuff on his penis. The only hope I have is that, they have these HPV vaccines now, and so he can tell these girls, oh, don't worry if they notice at all. They're not too drugged up. Don't worry. You've had the vaccine, right? Then you won't get it. So, okay. So I can't find this guy. The closest I come to finding what I think is this guy is a guy named Jimmy James. ATK Kingdom is his company. And again, did I mention these are high budget, despite the ugliness of the scenarios and most of the models, high budget things. He uses his very nice LA house with a swimming pool for many of the shoots, and then he takes the models to different countries like Hong Kong, or and that will be the basis of a video. Oh, we're going to Piccadilly Circus in London, and but if you go to Wikipedia, useless. Even more useless, LinkedIn, Jimmy James. You don't see his full face, but he looks like a guy with a gray beard, short, bald guy with gray goatee and beard, typical porn guy. He's the COO and CMO and executive producer of ATK Kingdom. I think ATK, I had to look this up, stands for At Your Keyboard Models, right? So you're at your keyboard. Oh, ATK Girlfriends, sorry. You're at your keyboard and the models come to you, sort of. Award-winning production studios and brands. We produce over 100 adult movies annually. How good can a movie be if you're producing 100 of them? Or does a movie not mean 80 minutes anymore because it's the internet, so it just means one scene of like 10 minutes? Huge Ape Media he founded in 2008, management advisory firm. Revenue and strategy partnerships, management consultant, vice president roles. Again, LinkedIn, there's no mention of the smut. There's no mention of pornography. ATK Girlfriends, Huge Ape Media, bullshit company. He's also a partner investor in Canna Nano. Okay, all these sleazes got into the CBD or cannabis business, of course. Sylvester Stallone does a good job of playing one of those like mafia guys in the cannabis business, although it's complete fiction and ridiculous. I can't name them. It's his new TV series. Canna Nano CBD Products is well recognized and has won numerous industry awards, 7 awards to date. And of course, he was a partner and investor in Birdtown Cannabis Company, a private cannabis enthusiast group of professionals, musicians. So if you go to their website, it does not resolve. And it looks like he started his career. Oh no, he's still working at as a partner and investor at Bone Master Products, one of the fastest growing ancillary brand products in the adult industry. So there you have it. I was actually going to watch a Lara Brooks video and then talk about it. It's just too depressing. There's a couple things it's always a disappointment, pornography. Oh, she's so beautiful. All right, she's naked. Wow. No tattoos even. And straight off the farm. Every porn enthusiast loves that. And then you see her genitals, and a lot of the time she's not shaved her private parts. And I think that's great. this is a weird part of online pornography is that they make women shave every day. But then it gets weird. She has, I don't know, her vulva, it seems so open and weird. Like, it's not this slit, it's this open vagina, just something unusual about it. I don't like to use these medical terms. Her butthole is weird too. Like, not hemorrhoids, which you never want to see in porn, but it's there everywhere. But something is not right. And I did notice, looking through the one video that I won't narrate, with this ATK girlfriend's guy having sex with him, there's one shot where you see little baby shoes on a table with all other stuff, drinks or whatever, and then you're like, ah, damn, that she's a new mom with a baby, and this is what she's doing. Well, you know, Lara, I know you stopped doing this, or hopefully you have, and settled down, probably went into therapy or something, and, you know, bless you. And Pornhub, I don't know, it's free, but is it worth it?
That was a pretty long drive to Phoenix. So now I'm hungry, and I think we saw a Sonic. So I'd like to stop there before we go check out Phoenix and maybe Camelback Mountain today.